Hey, Blue Rockers, welcome to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. I'm Connie Willis, and this, of course, is Crypto Connie Tuesday. So we have a lot going on for you tonight. Let's see here. Oh, wait a minute. I pushed the wrong button here. Let's pull it all back up again. Show it all. Make sure we're going live. Make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, everything's coming up now. Show it. There we go. All right. Oh, you can see all that now too, right? And let's just make sure we got some sound. We do. All right. So everybody, Blue Rockers, welcome to Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. It is Tuesday. So this is Crypto Connie Tuesday. We're going to learn more about crypto today. Those of you that are new here, thank you for coming. You are now an official, well, once you subscribe, you're an official Blue Rocker. A Blue Rocker is someone in the know. And we also do this number when we see each other, just a little fun, just having a little fun. So, Blue Rock Talk is Earth's most interesting conversations. That includes people, places, and things. All kinds of neat stuff that we have here on Blue Rock Talk. And we have a variety of things. We have Bigfoot Friday. We have Far Out Thursday. I mean, Bigfoot Friday, you know what that is, right? Far Out Thursday, that's kind of the signature night that Blue Rock Talk came about on. And it's anything from aliens to UFOs to hybrids to cool-looking bugs, to anything that's interesting. Interesting is the key word, and far out kind of works on that night too. In the future, we're going to be having something called Wasted Wednesdays. That's going to be a serious look at the cannabis industry, and always a lot of live break-ins and a lot of live videos and a lot of cameo things. We also have something called Stan's Bible Lecture on Sunday. That's at 1 p.m. Eastern. All the other shows are 10 p.m. Eastern. And what we have tonight, of course, is Crypto Connie Tuesday, all about crypto. So just a couple updates here real quick. Those of you that are new, I have a background of 25 years of national and international television and radio. I've been on ESPN and Speed and UPN and Disney, and it just kind of goes on and on. HSN, QVC, infomercials. And I'm also on now, currently, Coast to Coast AM radio. Been on that for, I guess, about 3.5 years coming up on that. And it's a joy. It's a lot of fun. In fact, I'll be back on July 6th and July 14th, I think. Those are the dates. So I hope you'll join me. But so it's over now where you could help induct George Norrie into the Hall of Fame. The Radio Hall of Fame, the National Radio Hall of Fame. That's a big deal for people in radio, especially when you've been with a syndicated show for a long time and just kept it going and grown it bigger and bigger. And, it came from like 800 people were up for it. Only 24 got nominated. He was one of them. And I hope that you did get a chance to vote. If you did, I hope you got to several different times, because you could if you did it with a different phone number and a different email, all that kind of stuff. You guys know how that works. So we actually find out, I believe, June 25th. So, let's hope for you there, George Norrie. I think you deserve it for sure. What an incredible show, and it's an honor for me to be a part of it. Very much so. So thank you, and I hope it all works out for him. Holy cow. And thank those of you that supported him. And thank those of you that support me on Coast to Coast as well as Blue Rock Talk here. Please hit that like button while you're here before we start the show. Go ahead and hit it, and tell anybody else to hit it too. A reminder, thank you for supporting Blue Rock Talk when you throw money my way, whether it's with the YouTube way or the Patreon account and some other things. You can take a look down below. There's a ton of links. But, hey, honestly, crypto folks, donate in crypto. It all goes back to Blue Rock Talk, and that's the way to go, right? Go to crypto. My favorites are down below as well, and some ways that you can land it to make sure I get it. And thank those of you that have. Golly, somebody gave me, I just got some BitShares the other day. Thank you very much. And somebody landed me a million Bitcoin millionaire, I think is what it's called. Sounds pretty good. Millionaire. Wow, 1 million of them. They get up to $1. I'm doing all right. Even higher. Can you believe it? But tonight we're going to be talking about billionaires possibly coming to fruition. So hang in there on that. Is there any other things to tell you about? Let's see here. Let's see. Stan will be here later. Stan Larimer, the Godfather of BitShares, just recently went out on a nice cruise. And yeah, okay. I think we're pretty much caught up here. Oh, I did want to say that Freedom Fest is coming up as well. I believe Stan may show up at that. And also CloudCoin founder and Rada founder Sean Worthington will be speaking at that. We'll let you know about Stan when we know further details about that. All right, so let's go ahead and get to tonight's guest here. We're going to be talking about, well, you know, first of all, there's a lot of you out there still that are new to crypto. You haven't even begun crypto. You don't even know what to do. Well, we got answers for that tonight. And so I don't want the advanced people to run off and go, oh, yeah, this is all it is basic. First of all, growing up in sports, every one of my coaches always made us go back to the basics because that's where you get your start. That's your foundation. So those of you that think you're too advanced to learn a little something new, you're not. Always go to the basics. But we're not just talking about getting into it and learning how to get into it quickly and easily. We've got something bigger. We're talking billions bigger. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm sorry, I'm having a lot of little fun with these words here. So we're going to talk about the BitShares family extends. And there's a whole new thing maybe to some of you. It's been out there for a little bit. Stan's talked about it for a while, but some new things have occurred. So we're going to discuss what it's all about. It's Billion Hero Campaign. If you've heard us say $1 billion hero campaign, yep, same thing. You know, we've been listening to Stan. He always puts dollar in. Not our fault. Come on, we're just repeating him. Stan, we look forward to when we see you. So as we talk about the Billion Hero Campaign, I want to bring on somebody that's like a giant part of it, and that is JT Clough. She's a really cool lady. She's very intelligent, and I'm glad to be a part of all this with her, and we can get a hold of her throughout. We're also going to leave her links down below so you can reach her, and she'll be able to help you out with putting it into layman's terms where it's a whole lot easier for us to understand what to do. So she's co-founder of what is called the Highrise Elite Marketing, and that's the Crypto Learning Academy and Futurenomex. Love the name. If you're on Steemit, that's where you want to go. Futurenomex, that's her. Her strategy is in blockchain and the cryptocurrency technology. It's turning ideas into successful campaigns throughout innovative marketing and edutainment. And she does that. That is so cool. That's not a typo that you see. That is, and probably a word she made up, we can call it a Cloughism. Edutaining. So you learn, but you have fun doing it, right? Makes pretty much sense there. That's what we all want. She's been marketing since 1995, and given that Google launched in 98, it's fair to say that she's pretty much a veteran. I think she knows what she's doing. How do you do it before all that? Holy cow. That's how much this lady knows. And I love the fact that I can kind of reach out to her when, I have some questions. Thing is, I know she's busy, but, I still want to give it a shot. So anyway, let's go ahead and bring her on here for the first time ever on Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis and Crypto Connie. It's JT Clough, and welcome to Blue Rock Talk with your voice now. You got sound.
Hello. How are you, Connie?
I'm great. Can you tell people more about your background growing up? I think you had an incredible, a younger life.
Yeah. So one of the things that you mentioned earlier, as an analogy to people who may know quite a bit about crypto already, is that it's always good to return to your basics, and that analogy was in sports. And so I had an early start with sports. I never lost a race in high school in track, and went to college on a track scholarship, of course. Played all kinds of other sports too, though. So, but I carried that into my adult life and ended up doing 9 Ironmans. 2 of those were world championships.
Wow. How many again? How many?
9 Ironmans.
Okay. So now I know a little bit about that. So that is, you run first, then you swim, then you bike?
You swim, you bike, you run. Swim 2.4 miles, you bike 112 miles, and you run 26.2 miles.
Okay.
Yes, all in one day, as fast as you can.
Yeah. I mean, how long did it take you to train for that?
Oh, it was one of those things where it just became, it was what I did. I was at the time competing to get to the World Championships. So, I trained probably 20 hours a week for the most part.
Well,
a lot of training.
I actually knew, and I can't remember the guy's name, and I don't know if you know anything about this story, but there was a guy when I had lived in Florida. He trained people personally to get into shape, and also ran a small gym at a resort. And he apparently was the guy behind the idea of Ironman. And he was living in Hawaii at the time. And he came up, they weren't thinking of, oh, let's do an Ironman thing. They kind of put it together and they gave it a name, and then that's what came from it. They never thought that was going to happen. And something else happened where there was a divorce involved and somebody else got the name and the rights and all that kind of stuff. But it's still cool to have learned how it all started. And the unbelievable talent and ability and, I mean, everything, the discipline that you must have. Holy cow. What do you do when you're going that long and that hard? Do you get into the zone? Is that what it is? Is there a zone?
You definitely get into the zone. You definitely train for that euphoric feeling, and you get to the point that is a normal feeling, and you almost crave that feeling. So you do it so often that it becomes normal. And honestly, I take that into everything in life right now. If you do something brand new that you don't know, and you do it every single day, and you keep practicing and practicing and practicing at it, you get really good at it. And so I used to have mantras that I would do. One of them that comes to me all the time is the further I go, the faster I get. And honestly, if you put yourself in the space of saying those things to yourself and believing those things, they become true. Yeah. You can do superpower things, whether it's physical or mental, with that kind of thought pattern.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, that's a Blue Rocker thing for sure. And you now are an official Blue Rocker, by the way.
Well, there you have it.
Okay, so.
Wow, I didn't even realize that I was going to get such acclaimed status here.
That's right. You are a Blue Rocker. So I'm hoping, let me just make sure everything is cool over here. Everybody can hear you. That is someone in the know, and you have an open mind, I can tell, so you're open to things. I mean, just talking about what you're talking about, how you can do things with the mind, that's really a lot of, kind of the mentality here on Blue Rock Talk, so that's cool. Just one more question on the Ironman thing. I thought the swimming was always second or third. Was it at one point and then they moved it?
No,
it's
always been first. And part of it is when you think about the fact that in these Ironmans, you're swimming 2.4 miles in open ocean with 2,000 people
and sharks.
So, and it's a battle in the beginning, and it's also
that's true.
The hardest thing. I mean, you can't just stop and touch the ground.
Right.
You can't just hang on to the side of the pool. You have to keep going, right? So to put that behind a 112-mile bike or a 26.2 mile run, probably not a good idea.
Well, that's what I thought. I thought I thought it was second or third, and I thought, how would they do that? Oh my gosh, you would be dying. Yeah. But at the beginning, I guess, like you said, you can't touch the bottom, you can't grab the side, but you can grab that one person next to you and go. Ugh.
Yeah, well, and it happens. Believe me, you would be tough.
I bet.
Swim fast.
Oh, that would be horrible. That would be horrible. Absolutely. Yeah, get out of my way. Well, tonight we're here to talk about the Billion Hero campaign. I keep saying $1 billion hero campaign as well. I guess that's not a problem because that's what we're shooting for. But, I've been telling people today that it's about learning, it's about earning, it's free as well. and there's great causes behind this. So can you explain to us more about what the Billion Hero campaign is, and why are we talking about it now?
Well, we're talking about it right now because it actually has just launched. It's something that our marketing team at Highrise Elite has been working on for a while now. And with all kinds of things, twists and turns and pivots and what have you, that happen because of all kinds of reasons. Tech can be an issue. And then there's the other things that have gone on, and people who are already into crypto are well aware of the fact that there has been twists and turns in regulation and in, price, and just there's something new every single day. So we wanted to create something that worked well and that also could encompass worldwide. Again, we had things like we wanted to, in the beginning, we tried to get a merchant account so people could actually get crypto there. That, we've got banking system problems, and, that's something that Stan is very outspoken about, and one of the reasons why he's so into all of this, the regulation, the banking, all of that kind of thing, as far as what they allow you to do and what they don't allow you to do and what people don't know about. So there's been a lot of testing and a lot of putting things together that had to be taken back apart again and then re-put back together to make sure that they worked. So that's where we are on that.
Well, what exactly is where's the learning part that you talked about? What is it, this is not just for new people and it's not for advanced people. This is for everybody.
Well, it is. There's a lot of moving parts with the Billion Hero campaign, and I think that there's a beauty to that, and I think there's also part of it where we have to really spend time and educate and edutain people to bring them into it because of the fact that there's a lot of moving parts to it. So one of the things that Billion Hero campaign does is it introduces cryptocurrency to people who may not know about it, or they want to know more about it but don't really know how to get into it. So there's that arm of it, and so that's where the education part comes in. And then there's the part of it where this was a vision of Stan's, and it was an amazing vision. One of the things I appreciate about Stan so very much is the fact that he has this view of the world and how he can make it a better place. And I think, there's been a lot of things said about Stan, but I think that he is really genuine in the fact that he really has a need to figure out how to bring this to everyone, to bring prosperity, to bring freedom, to bring all kinds of things like that to everybody. So that's mixed into the Billion Hero campaign, in the fact that, you can put a charity organization cause in there and get some real serious help in what you want to do for the world.
Well, I like that. I agree with you. It's funny you said, how did you word it? You said a lot of people call Stan a lot of things. What did you say? Something like that?
I said a lot of people do call Stan a lot of things.
And name about 5 of those, please. I want to hear what those are. He is true and genuine. And, that's why all of us are around him. I think that's a plus in being an investor with any of the things he's a part of. I want to be a part of something that there's someone you feel you can trust and you believe and you think is genuine and authentic. You know that they're going to give everything that they can, so you want to stay with that. That's who you want as your best friend and your buddy, right? And if you're giving your money to somebody, you want to give it to your best friend and your buddy, right? So I know that out there in the crypto world, there's a lot of stuff that just comes and goes and comes and goes and just shoots up, and it sounds great, but you really do have to do your homework. And I hope that all this that we do with CryptoConnie shows people the consistency of that for sure. And so here we go, launching something else here with the BitShares family. And okay, so, all right, so I'm new to it. What do I do? And then we'll talk about the advanced part. But I'm new, and so I'm going to go to billionherocampaign.com, .org, .net.
billionherocampaign.com, and at that point there's a link on there, and again, I have to look at it, but
that's all right. You only look at it every day. Poor thing.
Exactly. So there's a reward right away for joining, and that is when you opt in. And we honestly don't want to have anybody in who has not opted in. There's, all of that going on too, people trying to bring people in that didn't want to be there. We want you to be there. We want you to make the choice
right,
that
sure.
you want to be here.
That's true.
And
that's true.
So
bring your friends along and get 5 more tokens, right? That's what happens.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly where we set that up, is to bring your friends along and do that.
Yeah.
So you can opt in, you can get 5 free rows, which that's Stan's creation. So we'll have Stan talk about free rows.
Free rows, yeah, it's free rows, not heroes.
Free rows, not heroes. Well, free rows for heroes. We can, we can make all kinds of things happen with that, but
because heroes is a whole nother token, right?
It's a whole nother thing, yes. So we have those as somewhat of a bounty to bring people in and get them started. But the real point is once they come in, we then have a place for them to learn about cryptocurrency. We have an education platform that helps people to go step by step and learn beginning. How to get BitShares. Before you can get BitShares, you got to get Bitcoin. This is where it gets very confusing for people who don't know about crypto or know a little about crypto or hearing about all of this and want to be able to figure it out, where it's very helpful for them, because we have built courses for people who can go literally step by step. I love the fact that we have had, we've obviously been testing this for a while, and it's what we do, where we build a lot of campaigns that we do for other things have been around the edutainment sort of model. So people come in and they can learn step by step what to do. Now, when they do that, they are awarded points for what they learn. As they go through the modules, they automatically get points. I'm going to back up a little bit in that you also have to register as a user. So and you'll get those emails and things when you opt in. You're going to then get instructional emails as to what you should do.
The beginning of Billion Hero Campaign started one way, and now it's a whole nother way, because you got to see what happens along the way in development, right? And it develops as it goes along, and things change here and they change there. Correct?
That is very true. You have to learn. It's like anything in life. There's days you got to pivot.
That's right. That's right.
I'm not a real fan of the idea of using that word a lot, but I think that you have to be flexible, but you also have to be innovative. And, when people run up against a roadblock, if you just stop here, nothing happens. And they happen a lot, whether it's in tech, whether it's in, anything that you want to do in life. There are roadblocks, and a lot of people will stop, and that's not in my nature. So
that's right. That's right.
Yes.
No, it's not Miss Iron Man. Did they still? I guess it was still Iron Man even when the women did it.
Yeah, it is. It's one of those things. I can hear it. I know people that are in the industry. I'm still very close to a lot of them, and people work in that industry now from when we raced, and I can hear Mike Riley's voice to this day. When you run down, I don't care if you're a man, woman, or what, when you cross that finish line, it's like, JT Clough, you are an Iron Man. And you're like, I guess so.
Yeah, I'll take it.
So yeah, it's just a term, and I actually don't have a problem with it.
Oh yeah, I
No problem at
understand
all.
you. I don't either. Hey, I was the only girl on a boys baseball league for like 8 years. I could have cared less, whatever. They said, you're second baseman. Yeah, I'm not second base woman. I'm not second base girl. I'm not second base whatever. Second baseman. So I understand. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't worry about all that label stuff. So just don't call me late for dinner, right? That old line, we can all say that. Don't call me this, just don't call me late for dinner. Call me anything that you want, but don't do that. Well, I'm not sure exactly where it stopped at, but let's go ahead and we're fine. Everybody is good. We're good to go. Everybody can hear us. So
Everybody's good. We're happy about that.
So I just want to, it is what it is. You're going to have to explain a few things again. So what is Billion Hero Campaign? There's learn, there's earn, there's cause, and effect, actually, and there's billions.
It's a lot of things. That's the thing with the Billion Hero Campaign. There are some moving parts to it, and that is where we are working at getting a message out to people on exactly what it is, and the fact that there are some moving parts to it. So in marketing it, and that's where I come in, is actually marketing something to people so that they can understand it. That's been the challenge because there are a lot of moving parts to it. Stan came up with this brilliant idea a while back, and so there's been things that we've tried to add to it that just aren't going to work, and things that made it too complicated. And one of my goals in bringing things to people so that they can understand is making it simplified enough that it's not confusing for just anybody to come in. Our goal is to bring a lot of people into the world of cryptocurrency through this, because it's an education platform where they can learn, the basics of cryptocurrency. In that doing that, they're also able to support some amazing causes and organizations around the world by actually learning. So that's where we get learn, earn, and you can give, because we teach you how to get your own cryptocurrency. We teach you, what it is. And there's sky's the limit as to where you want to take that, and we also give you the opportunity to either put your own cause or organization in there that is something that's near and dear to your heart, or that is very important to the ecosystem of our world that we live in, and be able to give back. So that's where the moving parts of the Billion Hero Campaign come in.
So your biggest guy, Evander Holyfield, you can see him when you very first go to the site. Very beautiful site, by the way. I love playing with my mouse over top of it. That's so much fun. I'm like, who did this? I could do that for hours.
That was Reggie. Reggie's our tech. He likes that kind of thing. So we needed to make it tie into the crypto world. So it's pretty cool. We like it.
It's very cool. Those of you that don't even want to get involved, you got to at least go to the website and play around with your mouse on the opening page. It's so much fun. Beautiful shot of Evander. He's your main guy that's got a cause out there. And I saw what looked like other celebrities. Are they a part of it, or is it something else? Is it?
So there are other celebrities that are. It's actually their foundation. So they haven't signed on as being a spokesperson or anything like that, but they have foundations. And one of the things that they are doing is, there's amazing foundations that some of these famous people have been able to raise a lot of money and help in big ways, and bringing crypto to that will also bring attention to it. It will also bring more people understanding what it is. So using foundations like that are tied to these stars, celebrities, that it's important to them, it's going to bring the message to a lot more people.
And the cause, these are great causes that you hear about a lot of times, where it's MS, it's cancer, it's, wonderful causes, definitely needed, but they don't have to be like that. They can be, hey, I want to fund some sort of trip to Mars and take my own car there instead of something else, right? So it can be exciting in other ways too, correct?
It is. It can be, anything that is in the realm of possibility and is something that is real and important. I mean, we have had people try to put things in like, what about me kind of thing. I said that before. I don't know if people could hear me when I said it, but so things like that.
More. What were they trying to say? Just I'm worth $1 billion or what?
Basically, yeah, I deserve it because I'm me. Hey.
Well, if you're that cool,
I guess
all
you
right.
get enough people behind you on that. There you go.
Well, go ahead. Go ahead and post it. We'll see if you get backed up on it. Why not?
Yeah. So, but we're actually looking for things that do make a difference, and they do make a difference, whether it be to children or hunger or disaster preparedness or education, the gamut. Animals. All kinds of.
Yeah, that's always a good thing for sure. I've got some ideas for all of those, and I better not say it yet. But anybody can go in there and go ahead and put an idea down, and the whole world sees it, and they're basically voting for it, kind of, in a way. So how does that make the money, or is that some Stan questions when we get to
those
that?
are Stan questions.
Okay.
That's he has it all set. I mean, it's all ready to go. He's got it set aside. He's got it, and I'm going to have him explain the endowment to people because he does a much better job of it than I do.
Okay.
My job is to market and to teach people basics of how to get in.
Absolutely. Well, okay, it's free, correct?
It is free. Absolutely. And that's one of the things that I love about it is it is free to come in. It's free to learn. And when you do come in and start learning, you are awarded points for things that you do. And those points that you can then take and, apply to whatever charity or organization you would like to do. There's also another part that is, when we talked earlier, when we first came on, you talked about, this is for beginners, but it also is for people that are advanced. So we have things for that too. Like a lot of the advanced people don't need the beginning things. So we do things like a weekly roundup, where there's all kinds of interesting articles in the BitShares world, and we talk about EOS, and we talk about things that are within our family here,
right.
And so there are things that people can do to earn points and as well as free rows by going to articles that have been published that week and reading them and liking them, sharing them, and helping to spread the word about what we've got going on here. So we'll be doing that with even helping to spread the word about Billion Hero Campaign, so the people that are already in there can go and share some of these articles that are out there, whether it be on Steemit or Medium, things that are published out there that pertain, and read them and share them. And it just is going to, again, help educate people who may not have heard of it before. Yeah.
So free rows, or do you earn free rows or points? These are two separate things.
They are two separate things.
Okay.
And again, moving arms we've got here. We've got moving pieces to the game.
Okay.
So points are awarded by going in, and the platform is actually set up so that when you go do something, you'll actually click when you completed it, and that's going to award you the points, and then you can take those points and give them to any charity organization that you would like to.
Okay.
Free rows are more of a bounty sort of situation where people can go do tasks and things. It's first of all, it's the best way to opt in to join the Billion Hero Campaign, because once you opt in, you are given five free rows, and you're giving more if you share it. But that then plops you right into the Learning Center, where it shows you how to get your free rows, you need to have a BitShares wallet. And so if you don't know how to get a BitShares wallet, there's a little bit of a learning curve to do that. So that takes you right down that road.
To videos, right? There's videos to say, here's how you get the wallet.
Yes.
Okay.
There's videos, there's written, there's screenshots. So we take people through.
There you go. There you go. And can you trade free rows?
So free rows right now, we actually did go in and see that I think some people are trading, but I'm not sure what.
Excellent.
But they do have, it's one of those things. I think it's the interesting thing about crypto is that you'll build worth for things. So again, Stan has a whole deal on free rows and his dream about free rows. So we'll have him talk about that.
What did you say earlier? You said you get 5 free rows, right? Say that 3 times real fast. Come on, say that again. I was like, you did a good job with it. I had to think about it.
You get 5 free rows. 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 You get 5 free rows.
The competitor in her, yes,
See,
the rough and tough Clough. This is what it reminds me of. I don't know if it reminds anybody else of it, but it just does me. Every time I hear free row, I think of, is it Astro on the Jetsons? What was the dog's name? Rut-row.
Oh.
Free row. I don't know why.
That's so funny. Yeah, I don't remember his name, but it could have been something
Astro,
like that.
Was it Astro? Well, yeah. Well, that's, I don't know, free row. I just, when I hear free row, I think of the Jetsons. I don't know why, but okay. So free row and hero are 2 different coins as well. And even though they're all still in the BitShares family, and even though Billion Hero campaign, even though the hero name's in that, right?
Yes.
So we got to get them all together and trade them all. Yeah, everybody, just have some fun with it.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
So what are the actual goals, and who's your audience out there?
So our goals are, we've got a twofold situation going on here. Of course, we want to encompass people who have supported BitShares from, the beginning and have come in the last few years. So we definitely have, they have an advantage in that they already know how to do some of the stuff. So that's great for them. But again, we want to put things in there that keep their interest, and one of them is to keep current events going on and reward them for knowing what they are and going to them and sharing them with other people. So there's that. The big picture in bringing in new people to the BitShares platform, or into cryptocurrency in general, to understand what it is, to understand that there is something that is different out there, to understand blockchain, which is going to be, it's already changing the world, and by getting in now and learning about it, you're going to be in an advantage in a lot of different ways. But we want to bring in an easy, understandable way, people who want to get into cryptocurrency, or it would benefit them to understand how to look at their financial life in a different way, because there's just been a lot of people who have told me different stories about what it's done for them when they didn't know anything about it. I've had women tell me that they did not know anything about their own finances, and then somebody introduced them to this one woman told me this, and she started to get interested in it because it was such a different concept, and she ended up just getting it, she understands the tech of it, and she also watched how it built her wealth. She saw her account and was like, oh, and I could trade it for this, and she started, and so her whole idea about taking care of herself as far as building wealth changed, because some people do look at it as there's only one thing. I don't think that it's a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket, no matter what it is that you're
Unless
doing.
you're an Iron Man person, and it's just like run, swim, ride. That's a different story. That's a whole different mindset at the time. But no, you're right. I agree with you. But what about if you? But even if you're looking into the crypto world, don't put them all into one coin even, have fun with them all the way across the board, too.
Yeah, that's true. And there's an education platform that really needs to happen, and we recognize that. That needs to happen so that people can even understand that concept.
How hard has that been to make it friendly, user-friendly for people like us that, people like me that need to it's like, holy cow, what, just make it, easy. Just push here, push here. How hard has that been for you guys to put Stan's idea into fruition and make it user-friendly?
Well, Stan has a tendency to dream big, and what I love about it is that he actually makes it happen. Like he comes up with this idea, and then we fit it into something that actually could be done. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty about this project, quite frankly.
I tell you what, the outcome of it is a winning, it's victory for all, for sure. And so who is your audience? It sounds like to me it's kind of everybody, really. I mean, it can be any and everybody.
I think it's anybody who wants to learn how to take care of themselves, actually.
Yeah.
Take care of themselves and their family and their children and their friends, and to understand more about the economics of the way the world is working, and to be educated about what's going on around them. But a lot of the target is for somebody who didn't know anything about cryptocurrency, but wants to learn about it. You hear people talk about it. It's interesting. I'm out and about, and I hear people, there's just these little conversations that go on around you, and you hear people, Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, and I mean, I can sit at a table and somebody will bring it up, and I can drop into a conversation, and by the time I have got a whole table going like this.
I know, right?
Can you tell me more about that? So there's definitely an interest, and there's an interest in
yes, it's true.
All kinds of different people all over the world. So bringing those people into a space where it's safe for them to learn about it, where they don't feel overwhelmed, because that's some of the disconnect. Some of it is that, blockchain and programming and tech will scare some people away.
Oh my gosh.
Whereas if you can bring them into a case where they can do something that's step by step, and they can see the process and understand the process without starting up here, so they're too confused before they even start, was the key.
Wow. So learning, earning, all of this. So it's not just crypto itself. This is a whole another great idea of how to use the crypto in a whole nother unique way that no one's ever thought of doing it, and none of these middlemen in the middle taking a little here, a little there, and it all adds up, and it doesn't go where it should go. It's going to concentrate on what the cause is, and it's going to let the people that join decide, what cause they want to get in, and you really will start seeing, because of the way you'll have it listed, you'll really start seeing what's more favorable out there, where people want to put their, their tokens and their, because it's the points. It's the points, right? Yeah. It's your points. Why didn't we go with putting free rows? Why not? Okay, you can put your free rows behind the heroes.
Well, that will come in the game. It will unfold. There's a lot of steps along the way here.
Okay. All right. So you all okay? So it's coming. All right. So I'm not stupid to ask that.
Yeah, and there's part of it that's definitely. Just hold on. So, and part of that is really, jumping through some hurdles on, how that might happen, in tech, and whether a merchant account will let you be able to use an API and all these kind of technical things. And so what we wanted to do was go back to Stan's original idea, and that was no purchase. Can you hear my dog?
Absolutely, your dog licking. I just want to make sure your dog is licking water, right? It's like it's drinking water. Okay, just making sure. Okay.
How can you say stop that, right? Hey, come on, enough.
That's hilarious, Oh wow, it's just like
enough. Stop. All right. So
The tongue,
now that
the
we've got
size
that
of the
handled.
tongue on that dog must be incredible.
Well, he's a Weimaraner, and he's a big boy.
Okay.
Yeah. So he was thirsty. He had his run earlier. So yeah.
It's hilarious. Well,
Yeah.
how long has it taken for you guys to get here? And when do you feel like you're going to be really at the point where you feel like, yeah, we're totally there? Because it seems to just always be a work in progress. All of these projects.
I think the real goal and the real winners are the people that stay with it and keep one step ahead of, tech and what's, new out there. So it will continue to unfold. What it has going for it versus, I think, a lot of other projects and, definitely in the crypto world, but really in any entrepreneurial endeavor, is that it will keep going and it will keep marching and it will keep unfolding. Whereas a lot of people will hit walls and stop. So, and that's the beauty of it. Like the idea of teaching people, there's going to be always something new to learn in this. This isn't something that's static.
Right.
There's new things that come all the time.
Good.
So it will continue to unfold. Like I was saying earlier, we do have, one of the things that we are doing is people can come in and learn what's happening this week or, what's happened this month by, we put in the learning area articles, things that are current for them to be able to go and check out. Mm-hmm. So things change.
Are those the articles of Stan and Michael X and Futurenomex?
Yes,
that's you.
They are.
That's her. That's her. She's Futurenomex. I think that's a great name. I love that name. You better copyright that or trademark it?
Well, yeah, we have the future of digital economics.
I love that.
We went that, and that's our we just really believe in education at this point, in teaching people, basics, and not making it exclusive to people who are very techie and very knowledgeable already.
We appreciate that too, because it's going to be able to bring more of people like me in, and we are the ones that are wanting to get in. We don't want to have to learn the tech. We don't care about what's behind the tech. We just want to be able to do it and enjoy it and have a new pastime as well. Hey, let's go look in here and do this. And even when it comes to trading stuff, it is, like you said, it's a new way for people to have freedom financially as well, where it's not just going out 9 to 5 or having to go somewhere and lift an object up here and move it over here or do whatever to make money. Now you can do it in a whole other way and be in more control of it. You can go in there and work on it yourself, play around with it yourself, on your time, in your ways, and I just love that. And you guys are helping bring it to fruition to have even more fun and more reasons to do it. And you're even throwing in $1 billion. Woo! So we're going to definitely ask Stan about those types of things. Just real quick back to the fact that you're really spearheading this project, pulling it together, and you got Reggie helping you too. We'll have to bring Reggie on at some point.
Yeah, we wouldn't. I don't know what we would be doing without Reggie.
Yeah, you'll hear Reggie's voice when you go to the videos, right? That's Reggie, right?
Yeah.
Real nice, calm, sweet, kind, and very intelligent person.
Yeah.
So Google started in '98. You started in '94. I didn't know there was anything before Google.
Yeah, no, isn't that funny? Yes. To think about the way marketing was, like, I remember making billboards and print ads, right? Newspaper print ads.
Those are the worst. And
right?
And you throw it in with all the other billions of everybody else's, and hope that it gets seen.
And then when you wanted to do, like, cool looking designs, and which I really like, that's to draw your attention in, right?
Yeah.
You had to print all this stuff. Are you kidding me? Like, it took forever.
It's over. we'll have to talk about the old, oh, look, and she's drinking out of a mason jar. What are you, a Southerner there? Come on. You're in San Diego.
I drink a lot of water.
We created that. That's what we need, mason jar. We need to figure out a project with mason jar. So if you're just now joining us, you're watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. This is Crypto Connie Tuesday. We're talking with JT Clough, and we're talking about the billion hero campaign. I even have it written on the top. Sorry, I'm used to saying that myself. We're going to blame Stan for telling us that's what it was. But it works either way, and you're going to enjoy it. So it's a learn and earn, and it's free to do. And it's all about causes as well, where you can vote on them. You can create the cause yourself. You can vote on someone else's. And we're going to learn about where this $1 billion comes from when Stan comes aboard. Just a reminder, if you're new here, please hit that subscribe button and also hit that like button. We had a little bit of technical difficulties earlier. The only thing that bothers me about the technical difficulties, because usually we have a smaller audience live and a bigger audience later, is that when you try to combine the two or you cut it out on YouTube now, you lose out if you make any changes to your videos on the live chat. And to me, the most important part of all these live shows, and the reasons we even do live shows, the reason that Blue Rock Talk does live shows is because we really care. I really care about you Blue Rockers. All right, so it's important to me. So it's important that you guys are there and you show up and you stick around when these little technical difficulties happen. And that shows a lot. That shows so much. But when I can't edit it back to where it looks as best as possible, kind of irks me and bugs me. And so I apologize, because I really do think it's important that you guys are the important ones. And you're also important when it comes to all the crypto that is being taught here on Crypto Connie Tuesdays, whether it's Stan coming in, JT coming in, Michael X, Sean Worthington, whoever the different people are. I just think you guys are, it's all about you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't have Blue Rock Talk. We wouldn't even be able to people wouldn't be buying the crypto. So I just want you guys to know how important you are out there. So we're going to take some questions now. If you'd like to throw anything at JT, put it into capital letters for me all the way across the board. I know that there have been some questions earlier, but they're way up there. And so if you can redo them, that would be fine. I would love that. And then hopefully I'll find it and I'll see it. But I appreciate that you guys are here and hanging in there. Please hit that like button. Please tell your friends. And go check out the links below. We have the Billion Hero Campaign.com down there, as well as where you can find JT on Steemit, Michael X on Steemit. Those, Michael's always doing some sort of article that has to do with, he just did one recently. I think we have that link down there below when it comes to the launch. Stan, of course, the man, and you got my links down there too, which will show the videos of what everybody's talking about. Now, I think you guys are going to have a ton more videos to go from what I'm hearing, because you're going to have a little bit more detailed teachings along the way. Is that right?
That is correct. So again, sometimes the best way to teach is video. So it's a combination of video, written, screenshot, however we can teach people. But video is quick and easy. We are just, again, like I say, things evolve. And so we're just adding this week a place on how to get started. So in that how to get started, we'll be adding videos that will help to walk you through it. At the top right now, there's a link that says how it works. And there's videos in there that tell you how to sign up and how to be a backer and how to start a campaign. So there's things that walk you through that. I think one of the important things is to know that by coming in and signing up to get the free rose, that is where you start, you deploy a email series. And if you don't do that and you're just coming in and doing the learning on your own, you get everything that's there you get, but there's extra things that come as things unfold on a weekly basis. So you want to keep up on all the new things that are coming out there as well. Michael and Stan have a lot going on and contribute a lot to the community and the things that they have, or they're creating out there. And so we also give updates on that, that goes out in that series. So it's the best way to stay updated. It's the best way to, if you're into playing, if you're a little bit competitive, you might want to sign up, because if you miss one of those, you miss some points.
Right. And it's, you want those points for sure.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. I don't know if Michael or Stan ever get any sleep. As you were saying, how much they do. Golly, amazing people for sure. Now, I've got some questions in here. I'm not sure. I'm going to see if you can answer them or not. You know, she's into the marketing part. She's going to throw all the other stuff that some of you guys are asking to Stan, because he knows that part. But I'm going to ask you anyway, because you may know. Let's see, is ARP still planning to add the hero token to their retirement plan? Is that something you may know?
Not one clue.
Okay.
One of the things you get with me is, I just pretty much say it like it is.
No, you should, and you should.
Nothing to prove, nothing to hide here, so.
We love
Don't
that.
know.
We love that. That's
Stan
okay.
probably is.
Oh, I'm so happy you are that way. That's what you should be, right? I think some of these other ones too. Explain how a small business can use BitShares to get more business. Okay, these are all going to be Stan questions. So, well, more so, there may be some questions in the back that I just can't see right now. But you have explained it very, very well, and I don't think it can be any easier than what you said. Congratulations on the launch. It's only just the beginning for you, though.
It is just the beginning. Lots more to come, and make sure you get in and follow the process, and get in and start playing the game, and bring it to other people.
Yeah.
Help other people to learn. There's a lot of things out there in the world they can learn about, and cryptocurrency, blockchain in particular, is going to be an important one for people not to miss out on. Right.
I think it's a very professional looking site, and fun too. I've got my free rose. Free Rose Astro. I love it. Okay, it's so much fun. So now we have everybody on there. So JT, thank you for hanging in there too. Stan, welcome to cryptoconnie Tuesday. And Blue Rockers, thank you so much for hanging in there with us for tonight's show. Wow, this has been a tough night.
Yeah, well, I tell you, I have to salute JT. Great job. The only criticism I have is she's too modest. Okay, she runs the Billion Hero campaign. Okay, Michael and I are out busy trying to drum up business for BitShares, and we dropped the whole thing in her lap. And so she's the one that is taking it and making it work. And our job is to try to drive more content to her, and then she knows what to do with it.
What do you think about that, JT?
Well, yep, that's how it is. No, it's one of those things, and I'm quite honored that I get to work with Stan and get to take this on and spearhead a dream that he had and a vision that he had, and so that's what I do. I actually love marketing, and I love marketing something that is going to make a difference. So it fits a lot of things for my personal mission in life.
Well, Stan, you were probably crunching through a little of that great sound that you heard earlier, but hopefully you picked up, we picked up where we left off. And how did we throw out to everybody in a great way and explain properly your vision and what's going on with Billion Hero campaign?
Yeah, I mean, I think you covered it completely. I mean, along the way, you had a few questions. I didn't write them down, so I'm hoping we can remember whatever it is you wanted to talk about. But yeah, the idea, I guess I'll do a couple that I remember while you guys try to think of what the
Sure.
rest of them were.
Oh, sure.
Okay. There are many reasons for the Billion Hero campaign. One is we did want to have a way to get the message out about all the technology that people use in a friendly way, very accessible way, and realized that making a game out of it would be a good idea. So fundamentally, when I do the Connie show or a radio interview or something, I don't usually anymore. I didn't want to just dump them into the standard BitShares website because that takes you in from just I'm here to do business. Let me get an account and get going. But there's
Right.
nothing there that helps a new person even understand why they want to do that. So I wanted a place that I could say, hey everybody, go to the billionherocampaign.com, and that's where you can find out about all the things I'm talking about and get training. And we're making a game out of it, and you can do some good while you're at it. And then layered on top of that, we said, well, what else? We ought to do something that would dramatize and make it interesting. And there's nothing like trying to raise $1 billion for charity along the way. And that is its own goal in its own right, is to, it doesn't require, I think JT mentioned it, no purchase necessary. We wanted this to be us giving away and setting a good example. So there are layers of examples that can be set. First off, we give away, put $1 million worth of BitShares. It was worth $1 million last year at this time. And then the goal is, well, Bitcoin and Ethereum and a number of other coins out there have grown by more than a factor of 1,000. And so, and anything that really catches on, that could easily happen. So our goal is to raise awareness, and it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy as more and more people come in and study and play the game and learn about it. That could cause the very growth that would allow us to give away $1 billion in a couple of years. I think last year we actually grew by a factor of 200 before the great Bitcoin recession that happened, induced largely by uncertainty about what the governments were going to do in the world. That's my personal opinion. There's lots of reasons. Someone asked a question, why is Bitcoin going down? Well, there's no single reason. There can be blatant and explicit manipulation. There can be concern that the government's going to act in a knee-jerk fashion and cause damage. There can be futures trading starting to come up, places where people can actually cause the market to go down as they do their trading strategies. And so there's not going to be any one thing that causes it, but I do believe that these things go in cycles. Just go back and look at the history of Bitcoin, and there are peak after peak after peak after peak, and after every peak there's a recession because people got overly exuberant and ran the price up beyond where it could be sustained. People started taking profits, and that panicked everybody and sent it back down. And until a new generation of people come along, get interested, and up it goes again. And so there's all of that. I think there is going to be a natural flow out of Bitcoin into more modern currencies. Bitcoin is the great granddaddy, but it's a Model T. How many Model Ts do you need when you've got really cool things like BitShares and Steemit and EOS and a whole host of other things out there?
Billion Hero campaign.
Well, the Billion Hero campaign is to help people understand what all those things I just mentioned are good for, right? And put it in context. If you come in through the front door of the Bitcoin universe, you get told that there's only one thing, it's Bitcoin, all right? They don't want to talk about all the new modern stuff. Why would they, right? So all of the media out there go to the most flashy in the sense of high market cap, coin, and they seek out those experts, and those experts are only going to talk about maximizing Bitcoin. That's like going to Model T manufacturers long after starships have been invented and asking them to explain the industry. They're going to tell you, look at this nice shiny coat of black paint that we put on top of our Model T. That's really the dramatic difference between what's going on. We wanted a way to train the next generation of digital currency users, and by bringing them in, I hate to say backdoor, but let's say a new grand entrance that we put on, we can get to them first. We can explain to them about starships.
Right.
And then we can say, now, occasionally to get to the spaceport, you want to drive your Model T, a few blocks to get there before you get on the shuttle and go up to your starship. All right. So there are uses for Bitcoin, on-ramps and off-ramps and certain places where you want to interface with people that are behind the curve. They've already adopted Bitcoin, their business model's based on Bitcoin, and they're not ready to move to something different. So to interface with them, you still need the skill of managing all those long, complicated addresses and so on. So we teach people about Bitcoin and its proper place in the universe, which is not the only thing, but it could be thought of as a reserve currency. It's the most commonly used way to get into the system, and people who have money transmission licenses typically use Bitcoin, and so we rely on them for that on and off ramp, and probably will have to do that for a couple more years. So anyhow, that's part of it. Now, then we wanted to set an example and say, look, if we can put $1 million worth of BitShares into an endowment and grow it, then imagine somebody who would want to do it for another good cause, and that's what Evander did. Okay, Evander is not like the typical celebrities out there that will put a BitShares logo on the butt of their shorts and shake it at the camera once in a while. Okay, that's what a typical endorsement deal is. That's not the deal with Evander.
He's not going to twerk it. He's not going to put BitShares on his booty and twerk.
No. He is
could twerk.
He is a full-up strategic partner in a joint venture to raise money for disaster preparedness.
Good guy and a smart guy.
Yes, and so it's not the same thing at all, but you've got the uncertainty that's been generated by government actions, that are scaring people, unnecessarily scaring people. And so how fast a lot of these type of projects, we have a lot of them queued up. Most of them went on hold or slowed down till we see what the government's going to do, because we already know, we have examples where they have gone after people who are completely innocent and ruined their lives with false claims. Okay, and of course the example of Jared Rice having been shut down and never arrested for anything, and they couldn't find anything on him even after 6 months. Nothing. Okay, so you can imagine people who would want to do good work, who would want to create their own endowment, and that's what Evander wanted to do. He wanted to get his fans to raise $1 million, and then we'd grow it to $1 billion, and it would be available to help with getting ready for the next Houston or Miami or Puerto Rico or St. Martin type of disaster. So it was a great example. He's a true leader in this field from doing that sort of thing. But I won't mince words. Heavy-handed government actions have put us behind in how fast people want to do that kind of thing and follow that kind of example. But that's the next tier. After we set the example of giving away the first $1 million to $1 billion, other people could use that for their cause.
Absolutely.
Okay, not just win our $1 billion, but raise another $1 billion of their own. And then the third example was at the individual level. People could set aside, pass up on one Starbucks coffee a week and put that $5 into, say, BitShares and grow their own little endowment. And so when we're going from $1 million to $1 billion, they might raise $100 and that would grow to $100,000 if the industry grows as it has in other cases. There's no guarantees in any of this, but we're setting an example of how people could use the growth of the system. And the neat thing that's different about, say, saving Bitcoin Well, Bitcoin's already gone through a big growth. Do you think it's going to grow by another factor of 1,000? Maybe, but it's much more likely that something like BitShares would do it, because, while Bitcoin may be have 75% of the industry's market cap, BitShares has 75% of the industry's usage, or the other BitShares and Steemit and now EOS. With EOS, I would expect going from 75% of the industry up into the 80s before long, because of everything that EOS does and the excitement that it has. So,
Right.
In terms of something that is super undervalued, anything that's doing 75% of the industry's total transactions on the blockchain, on public blockchains, and still is a tiny fraction of the value of something like BitShares or Bitcoin or Ethereum, you got to think that mismatch is going to be corrected in the market sooner or later. So a person could do that, and we're just setting an example. We're not giving financial advice.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
There's lots of ways it can go wrong. All you need is to have things tank is some ill-considered statement by some government official that scares a lot of people unnecessarily. And so, while they're trying to protect people in theory, that was their original purpose, damaging an entire industry by knee-jerk reactions, to me, is not protecting the consumer. I can't think of how many billions of dollars have been carved off of the cryptocurrency industry by reckless actions. And since then, the government's come along and said, yeah, I know we said that everything's a security, but now we're saying if things are sufficiently distributed, then they can go from being a security to not a security. The chairman of the SEC said, yeah, things can be a security and change to a non-security, or vice versa, depending on what happens. They're getting more sophisticated in their understanding. I'm optimistic that we'll get to a point where they understand what they're trying to regulate, but they didn't understand it, and they acted in a precipitous manner that damaged the entire industry. And so when people are asking why is the industry in a recession right now, regulatory uncertainty is, to me, the number one reason. So there, I talked for a long time to give you guys a chance to remember another question.
Oh my gosh, I thought it would never end. Oh my gosh. Oh, whew. Excuse me. Whew, man. No, that was great, Stan. I appreciate that. No, that makes the most sense of all. And there's so many people with new projects coming out constantly. I'm getting people writing me left and right. We got this, we got that. Can you talk about this? Have you heard about this? No, I haven't. I've been, involved in all of the BitShares family stuff, because that alone is a ton of great stuff. But then when these other people bring other great, fantastic ideas, I mean, they seem to be way ahead on their plans and projects. But I guess they're kind of being held back and slowed down. And is it going to end? When is it going to end?
Well, I don't think anybody knows the answer to that question. It depends on how enlightened governments in different parts of the world become on these things. I'm trying very hard every time I get a chance to talk to a government official to explain to them that this is a way to stimulate their individual economies and to cause growth and rapid expansion of lots of businesses. If we can get out of the ancient mindset of what things were like back in the early days after the Great Depression and everything, and think about what you can get with incorruptible blockchains and open source software and things that can be audited and transparent, there are a lot of things that can help governments do a better job of providing a level playing field for everybody. And anytime you can get humans out of the loop, let's face it, you can look at the news and you can see that most government agencies are infested with people who have lost their integrity and are using their positions of power to do things that they shouldn't be doing. And there are not enough watchdogs on the watchdogs to protect all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we can come along and get a lot of that regulation into something that compiles and can be executed by honest robots, so that the same rules apply to everybody, that there aren't two systems where rules are interpreted loosely for famous people or people who are well-connected politically, and the little guys who are just trying to write software get the book thrown at them and completely wiped out, like we've seen out there. There's just a whole lot of reform that is needed in the government, and in some sense, they're getting exposed because the whole world gets a chance to see every time the heavy-handed thing happens, the need for reform. So I'm hoping that over time we'll get people back. It used to be that we trusted the government to be honest referees, right? You watch any good sport. The sport is only as good as the referees have integrity. And when we have the referees doing other agendas other than trying to treat everybody the same, hopefully the more we can move on to the blockchain, the more fairness we can get in the system. So that's the ultimate.
I got you, and I can totally understand the analogy of the referee as a UK basketball fan. Trust me, it's like, wait a minute, wrong. If you're just now tuning in, you're watching Blue Rock Talk with Connie Willis. I'm Connie Willis, but tonight I'm Crypto Connie because this is Crypto Connie Tuesday. We have with us the Godfather of BitShares, Stan Larimer, right there in the middle, and right next to him on the other side, opposite of me, that way, it's the other way, is JT Clough, and she is the one who's spearheading and running and making the Billion Hero campaign look as it is and run as it is, and that is something that is just launched, and that's what we've been talking about tonight. If you have any questions, put them in caps. If you see my head turning over, I'm just going to try to see what questions you guys have. Put them all in caps or any comments. I'm going to start looking at them now. If they're way up above, then redo them. If they have nothing to do with any of this stuff, ask it another time. And please, JT, cut in at any time. Just jump in. That's the name of the game when this happens. Some of the stuff that you were talking about, Stan, about all this government jumping in, I got to ask, okay, and this is all great for business. We know that our president is a businessman. So what does he think of it? Is he getting involved in this? And I mean, he could help out big time, right? Is anybody reaching out to him? What's going on with that relationship? What's he think of any of this?
If he submits an application in triplicate to my PR organization, I'm willing to talk to him on a limited basis. Okay, I have no idea what's going on there. I do think he's got the right mental attitude. I don't know whether he's got the right advisors telling him he could perceive it.
Does he matter? He doesn't care about the advisors, right? He thinks for himself.
Well, he does, but on the other hand, if you get fed garbage in, you get garbage out, right? No matter how smart you are, right? So if the people that are telling him cryptocurrencies need to be regulated because they're a threat and so on like that, he could take the attitude that that is something that needs to be properly regulated. But I think he's getting a pretty good idea from his own experiences that there are people in government who are not necessarily fair refs. And so I think that maybe he will quickly understand that it might be some reform of how how much power those government agencies have and how they're supervised. Right now, they seem to be able to ignore Congress when Congress asks for simple information. There are three branches and there's supposed to be a certain amount of separation, but who promoted these lifetime judges to the final arbiter of stuff? That's not constitutional. There's supposed to be three independent things. We shouldn't have judges saying, we don't like the president's ruling, we're going to put up a roadblock of having little judges somewhere put up a ruling that stops the president from doing his job. So, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on our government that is wandered off from, what the original goals of our founding fathers wanted.
Do you know if Trump knows anything about this? I mean, what his thoughts are of this at all? Has he even said anything?
I haven't heard anything, but, I'm kind of oblivious to what's going on in the world. I stopped watching the news networks. I stopped watching the liberal media because they're just making up BS. I stopped watching Fox News because all they would talk about is how wrong the liberal media was. Okay,
yeah, so I agree with that. I agree with
any
that. I don't want to hear
interesting
that.
stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear constant discussion of the
Yeah.
false red herring
Agreed.
issues that keep getting brought up to distract us from the important parts of this,
Yeah.
of what we need to be thinking about. So I am not as up on current events as I used to think I was when I was, drinking the Kool-Aid that was being pumped out of the system. After I woke up to the fact that that Kool-Aid has nothing to do with reality, now I choose to be uninformed, and I know more than I did when I was watching the news every night.
Hey, I just got that Hulu, I don't know, some $4.99 or whatever Hulu thing, and I'm catching up on all my Bob's Burgers, Family Guy, American Dad, and having a ball. Westworld is fun. So, yeah, I understand what you're saying, too. I don't want to hear, I just get sick of all that other kind of stuff. But going back to Billion Hero Campaign, okay, so, all right, so we as individuals can put in as little or as much as we want to an endowment, and then okay, got that part, and then we can have companies do it, or we can have individuals put into $1 million. So the endowment gets up to $1 million, and that's of real money, or is that? So let me get to the exact question. I'm a female. Sometimes we have to work to get there, but just hang with us. You guys.
Not if you're an Iron Man.
We're so it's about pulling together $1 million in endowment, and then you match it with BitShares.
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
Explain that.
Yeah. I mean, this is really important to sort
And
out.
JT,
At no point
if you can do that, you can do it too. So I'm sorry. I don't want to
At no point does money flow to us. Okay, so we set an example by giving away $1 million worth of BitShares if and when it reaches $1 billion in value. So we have set aside a little escrow. It's 3 million BitShares, and when that gets to be worth $1 billion, then that's when it's distributed. Okay, and nobody else is asked to put any money in or send any money to us.
Wow.
No purchase necessary. We don't touch it.
Excellent.
Now, we set an example. Okay, now somebody who's got the organizations with the proper licenses and everything to be a charity, somebody like Evander, who's got his own organization, or anybody else, can follow our example and ask people to send to those 501c3s or whatever the equivalent is around the world that are authorized to collect money from other people and distribute it and have the necessary licenses and whatever, so they can follow the example. We are not involved other than supporting them with the technology. And then individuals who want to follow the example, they're not sending us any money. They're just keeping the money in their own account and saying, I'm going to grow this little endowment in my own wallet, and if it ever gets big, it gets big, and I can decide to spend it or borrow against it. But at no point are we asking people to send us anything. Okay? So one of the other things that came up was the idea of a free roll, and what is that? And this is where we can turn to JT and say, I don't know, JT, what are you going to do with it? Okay, because she's in charge. Okay, the original idea of the free roll is we wanted to give people play money so that they could try and learn and exercise the system without without any purchase being necessary. So we wanted to give away a token that was simply like Monopoly money. Its definition is up to the game master, JT and Reggie, to figure out what they're going to do with it. All right. Now, we've talked about a lot of ideas. One idea I thought was kind of cool, and there's nothing to stop somebody from doing this. Keep in mind that you were asking about, where do these contests come from and the celebrities you see on there. Anybody can come in and nominate anybody's charity, right? So all the charities out there, all the celebrity charities, if somebody says, hey, you didn't talk about Marilyn Monroe's charity, all right, well, post it up there and recommend it to people. See if you can get people to vote for it. Okay, so these are not endorsements from the celebrities to us. These are us or somebody out there in the world endorsing some celebrity's program.
I gotcha.
Okay, so you could create your own, or you could recommend one you like. And that's where the collection comes from. And then that means that someone could come along and say, hey, I've got 15 free rows because JT decided that I would get free rows because I did something. I stood up on a table in public and filmed myself briefing BitShares to the crowd. I don't know what she's going to do. It could be anything, right? But I now have 15 free rows. I think that one of those billion hero prizes should be given to everybody who's got free rows. Okay, and so someone could come in there and say, I want to nominate that one of the prizes be given to free rows. Now, if everybody votes for that and it becomes number one, that's $300 million going to the people who've earned the free rows. If it comes in 12th place, that's $10 million to be divided by people with free rows. Or if everybody says, well, that's I don't want to give charity to myself, I want to do something that'll do good, and 12 other things outrank that, then people with free rows don't get anything from it. It's still play money. But we're not trying to dictate that, other than JT coming up with interesting ways to earn them. We've given her a supply of play money, and she can build them into a game any way you want. And so I'm sitting here asking JT, what are you going to do with it, JT?
And JT.
Well, JT says this: I would gather up as many free rows as you can get, because they will come into play, but that remains to be named. So right now, gather them. You want to have them. Part of the idea of this game is teaching you, to grow things, to watch them and then figure out where you want to spend them, or where is it going to give the most value, right? So as the game unfolds, there will be value given to those. So I will give you a hint, and that is this. If you go out and do the work to get a free row, whether, in the beginning you get them for just signing up, but we've already got some things going where people go, read articles, they repost things, share some knowledge. We're coming up with a Steam It challenge. There's different things like that. If you get free rows, you've done something to get those free rows. So it would make sense if I were going to think about a game, it would make sense that those will probably be weighted in the future, wouldn't it?
So the strategy is, what is it, hodl your free rows?
Hodl your free rows.
Hodl.
Yeah. Right now, this is like a Super Mario game. They're little coins that as you play Super Mario, you jump up and ding, 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 collect a few. And JT is spending her time designing new layers to the game. Okay, and
right.
The more of those you've got in your pocket, the more useful they might be later on.
Okay, right. And I know I have some free rows, and I like when I get sent some, through an email that notifies me and says, hey, you picked up a few more free rows. And I just love the name. Who came up with the name? JT
that would be Stan.
Stan.
That sounds like me.
You have fun. You have so much fun doing this. So JT, tell us what it's like working close with Stan on projects like this.
Oh, it's a lot. You know what? I love working with Stan. Really, I do. And part of it is just the way Stan explains things is so amazing to me. I just sometimes am amazed at where he comes up with something, and he creates this story, and then the story somehow unfolds to be real. And I really think that there is not many people have that quality. And so my belief is that Stan has gotten where he's gotten because he created the frequency that he wanted to have happen by creating these things in his mind and then setting out to do it. Like he's used Stan is resourceful, and resourceful people and I get along well. so I like that. But yeah, just, Stan's an amazing businessman, but he also has such a great imagination, and in that he also has a big caring for the world, and that's what comes through for me with working with Stan Larimer. And I'm very honored to be able to work with him.
Aw. Still, let's go.
Well, thank you.
I wish I could do a close-up up on Stan's eyes at this point. Well, Stan, what is it like working with Iron Woman over here? Iron Man, Iron Woman, Iron. She is Iron. How's it to work with her?
I first met JT just a little over a year ago out in Hollywood when we were doing that big, amazing event where Michael and I stood up on a stage with all kinds of stuff happening. She ran that event, okay? She was coordinating everything that was happening, and it pulling off something that big is just unbelievable. So later on, when we had a chance to get her to put those skills to work for here, I said, yeah, like
Absolutely.
Immediately. And now it's gotten to the point where I can literally go for weeks without checking in because I know she's got the ball. And so that's very helpful because right now, as you've experienced yourself, Connie, I am overloaded to the point where I'm dropping balls all the time. Happy to throw one to JT and let her dribble it.
And not only are you dropping them, but other people are throwing them at you, and you're just like, it's like this horrible nightmare of dodgeball going on,
Yeah, that's exactly like that.
But you're hanging in there with it. We appreciate that too because a lot of cool things are gonna just totally blossom, and this is one of them. And so happy to be a part of bringing that out to the world, the Billion Hero campaign. And, I've seen it for a while. It's funny how everybody does little pre-launches, and then there's this launch, and I'm thinking, well, haven't we already been doing it? But, there's pre-launch and then a launch. So you just launched it. We have links down below that show you how to get there, and also links of Michael X and Stan and Futurenomex, which is JT, with their articles on Steemit. So make sure you follow them for that, as well as at Blue Rock Talk on Steemit. We all follow each other and learn from each other for sure, and talk with each other. There's so much to learn. When people say they want to learn stuff about crypto, I'm like, well, you better go to Steemit as well. Everybody talks about that, but it's all these projects that you have going on. This is just another one, and it's so different and so unique. I hope it totally catches on. I'm going to do my best to help you because how can it not? It's too cool. It's awesome. Nobody has to put anything in, and everybody wins, and the cause can be something extremely serious or something extremely fun. Tell us one of the fun ones, fun possibilities.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say when you just said that, one of the taglines that we had come up with is it's the only crowdfunding game where everybody wins.
Perfect.
I think that's a big statement to make, and we've actually been able to create something that is true.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and that is crowdfunding. You're like, that's crowdfunding. Yeah, it's a crowdfunding. Yeah. I didn't think of it that way. Okay.
Yeah. So, and as far as the different campaigns, there's a gamut of them because they go into different areas, and so there's serious ones and there's ones that are not so serious, and that's the beauty of it too, is you get to put in what's important to you, and there's so many different areas of life that are important, from somebody's health, whether it's some disease, cancer or something, to disasters and helping those kinds of things out. People who love animals, it really gives them joy to help animals, and there's those kinds of things in there. I mentioned it earlier, and my sound might have been gone at the time, but there are two that I really think are cool, and that is Girl Geek Con and Coding Dojo. And the Girl Geek is obviously girls, but it is an organization where they, there's girls that come, but they help them understand and learn tech. And I just think that's really important to develop that and to bring more people in, more women, more girls into that space. The Coding Dojo is cool in that it helps bring the education of technology to children who may not have the opportunity to get that kind of education. Again, we are going to need more and more people who understand tech, because blockchain is going to start popping up everywhere, and those are the kinds of people that are going to become very valuable. So now you've taken a child who may not have had an opportunity through the regular school system, who got involved because it's more of a club, and change their entire life into something that's very successful. I think that kind of stuff is super duper cool. So, we've got one that is just coming on. I just spoke with these people, and they've got, this is an interesting concept, but they have, it's called Juice, and it is a disposable charger for telephone, or telephone. Who has a telephone? Ring, ring, right? No, for your cell phone.
Oh, same thing. I knew what you're talking about.
Anyhow, the cool thing about it is biodegradable, and so it's this concept where there's places that people need a charge. Why would you want a disposable charger? That was when this first came to me. I was like, well, that seems kind of dumb. And then I realized, oh, it really isn't, because they started explaining to me who would need these and why they would need them. Think of military people. They're out in the middle of nowhere. There's nowhere to charge, and people send them care packages, and they've got this charge that they can get. Just a lot of places that you couldn't get a charge, that you have this disposable charger, and now you've got a place to charge it. Disaster preparedness. So, I lived in Hawaii for a while. I lived in Maui, and one of the things that I learned when I lived there was to be prepared if something happened, because wind comes in there and your electricity goes down, and what are you going to do? And so you have a box prepared all the time. That box has food in it. It has a light in it. It has, all these things, water that you might need. Right now, honestly, to find out anything, I don't know about you guys, but if I did not have this with me, I wouldn't know how to get anywhere. I wouldn't. I really. So imagine that, and being in an area where this happens, and your charge on your phone was at 10%. When that 10% is gone, then what? Right? You have one of those, and you've got a temporary charge. You've got at least one charge or two charges or three. It can get you out of a situation that could be dire without.
And then you can throw it away. And then you can
throw it away.
Yeah, and it's biodegradable.
Yeah. So I thought that was super cool.
Yeah.
So there's.
So it's not just a cause of something where. Again, I always go to like the MS and things like that, and the cancers. It's where a lot of people raise money for, and it's not just for a fun documentary to shoot or something interesting like that to put together. It's also for products. When you said crowdfunding platform, boom, that just really, told it all at that point. It's a crowdfunding platform, and it's a whole cool way to do it, and you're not having to put money into it. Stan, how can it lose?
It's a crowd mobilization, and the focusing your group. There are business reasons for doing this too. Okay, if I can get a group of indigenous people representing millions of people who are possibly going to act in a coordinated manner, and they decide to support their cause, then suddenly we've got millions of new BitShares users, right, who are trained our way. And I gave JT this goal of training basically 90% of the new users and teaching them about the technologies of Dan Larimer, real-time blockchains, as opposed to the ancient wasteful mining-based systems, that if she can succeed completely, a year from now, we'll have 90% of the users in the world. We already have, in some sense, 75% of the people who are actually using the system, using it. Now imagine after we're done with her training the whole next generation of users who are not interested in cryptocurrencies for the technology or the philosophy. They're interested because they get brought in through one of her games or contests or whatever, and now real people are moving in. We can change the entire dynamic in terms of what's considered mainstream digital currencies. So I think that is one of the things we can do, is we can go out and use this as a way to attract entire constituencies who have a cause. Save the whales, kill the whales, mate with the whales, whatever the cause is.
What the Sam Hill?
And so
I was listening.
each one of those can come in and use it as a way to increase awareness, because now there's a big prize that they didn't have to come up with, but they can come along and say, well, thank you for putting the prize out there. Let me go ahead and incorporate that into my strategy. I don't have to come up with a prize. The prize is there. I just have to get my team, my people, my constituents to go win it.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
If we can reach out to different groups and say, why aren't you competing for this thing? All those people to compete have to sign up and get a BitShares wallet and learn how to use it. We just overcame the big barrier to entry. Okay. And that is how the Billion Hero campaign is intended to grow the industry. And now that she's got the basic components built, it's up to her creative imagination to figure out how to reach out everywhere in the world and get people involved.
And JT, you got to love that compete, right? Throw that competition in there. You're loving that.
See, this is why I love working with Stan Larimer. He knows exactly how to motivate people.
Yeah.
And it's a skill. It's an amazing skill. And I'm a competitive person who wants to do the best that I can at whatever it is that I'm doing. And it's also why I get to work with Stan Larimer. So, that's what happens.
He's the master of it, but he knows what he's talking about too.
But I wouldn't want to take
he's not
Stan
just
on
giving you a bunch of BS and motivating
I wouldn't
you.
want to take Stan on a game of volleyball, though, because I am competitive, and I think Stan could probably kick it a little bit on the volleyball thing.
JT could probably get airborne a lot higher than I, but I am a seriously devious dinker. And so,
A
I'll
dinker?
be where she isn't.
Is that a volleyball
Yes.
term, dinker?
When you're an old guy, you have to be sneaky.
It's a dinker?
Yeah, there's no reason to go up and try to overpower it when you're my age. No, you put the ball where they ain't.
Oh, that's exactly right. Oh my gosh, when I was living on Longboat Key, which is like tennis key, it's like tennis island, okay? Everybody plays tennis. I kid you not, 84-year-old women were just knocking me out playing tennis. I could not play with them at all. And you know what they did? They stood there. I was running around like crazy because they were hitting it wherever I was not. And they could stand. Yep. And I don't know how I was trying to hit it away from them, but I couldn't. And they were just standing there. Boom, boom. Oh, you know what though? At one point, I had to think because I knew what they were doing. I'm like, they're killing me here. I'm worn out. And they're like doing that little cackle after they did it to me. It was awful. So you know what I did? This is probably a horrible thing. Well, no, didn't learn to dink unless you call this dinking. But I hit it up into the sun and blinded them. It was the only thing I could do. It was dirtier than what they were doing, but it was the only way I could get a point. That was mean, but somebody had to do it. So would that be called dinkering or blinding?
Strategy.
Strategy, that's right. So Patrick Kahn, or Pat's out there. we all know Patrick Konchik and Con Electric. Anyway, Pat, he says, can I put a charger in my compost? So he's going back to your phone charger there.
Well, it isn't my product, so I don't feel compelled to tell exact specifics, but I would think if it was biodegradable, that would work. I'm not sure though. We'd have to ask them.
Well, but
that's the other cool thing that I think, for people who want to join and put their charity up, is that this is a way to showcase your thing. Come on and join up, because if you got a cool thing and you want to showcase it,
that's what she said.
You do it. Yeah. We're giving you the opportunity to show it off.
I'll give you an answer to the question, a very practical answer.
Okay.
Being biodegradable.
Oh.
Being biodegradable means it's okay to put it in someone else's compost.
That's exactly right. I don't know what you're talking about. Wasn't me. What's in your compost?
Excellent.
I'm not putting it in my compost, I'll tell you that.
Oh, that's good. That is so good. So Murray Krause has been kind of answered about the whales mating is a pretty spectacular experience, except the crypto pumping variety. So they're hanging with the conversation and having a good time, and they're all conversing with themselves. I love it. I love when you can pull together a chat, and they all are buddies and helping each other out. I think we're on our own, and they're on their own on this one, but I think we're all kind of actually working together here.
There is one question I noticed back when JT was talking, and I was just waiting to see if you guys ever brought it up. Somebody asked it multiple times, and you ignored it, and I understand why.
Was it the ARP, or was it the fork in the Bitcoin, or the ARP, or the...
fork. The
okay.
fork. But the answer to AARP is we haven't proposed it to them yet. I think it'll be a great thing, but it'll happen. We want to get it moving to where there's a lot of depth to the hero, and you can't do that during a recession. You got to have the industry growing for that to actually work. So that's the AARP thing. The business soft fork versus hard fork, that's very technical, but I'll give you a simple answer. A soft fork is where you make a little change to the code that doesn't cause half of the nodes that are processing this thing to say, that's an invalid block. And so they can keep on going. It doesn't affect the thing. In other words, it's a change that requires usually a little more constraint. Like block sizes now can only be this big instead of this big. Okay, and for technical reasons, you can look at the system will keep running, and it won't separate into two groups of nodes that are controlling it, that one that has the new software and one that doesn't have the software, and they don't agree, and you break consensus. A hard fork is something everybody has to update to, or they'll get kicked out because they're not running new enough software. Okay, so that's all it is. And then there's the thing we invented called the pitchfork, and that's where you don't just modify the software, you throw it all out, and in 3 seconds switch to a whole new system. And that's what we did from BitShares 1 to BitShares 2. And occasionally you want to do that. And then for my PAs, des resistance, there's a new thing that I just invented called a stitch fork.
A stitch fork.
You'll have to tune in next time to find out what a stitch fork is.
Let me write it down for next time. Hold on. JT, thank you so much. Any last words before you take off?
Come on in. Come check it out. Come check out the Billion Hero campaign, whether it is to put your charity in there or to come and learn things. Participate in events that we put on. Basically, an event is to teach you to go around something that happened that week that's relevant. So, just come on in and check it out. And it really is a campaign that's a worldwide. What do I want to say? It's helpful for the entire world. So spread it around. Help us spread it around.
You got it. Stan, you done?
Just want to thank JT for a super job. I don't need to show up here anymore because we can just send JT.
I know, I love it. She's intelligent, incredible background in history, and fun, down to earth as well, and can put it back into layman's terms for everybody who knows that she's got to do that, right? So I am a game player. I had a game out on the market. I love, board games growing up, and so I love strategy. And always played sports as well, so love strategy. So looking forward to what you bring strategy-wise. That's fun and, exciting as well, and adventurous and, complex too. Don't make it too easy on us.
Oh no, that would be no fun.
That would defeat the purpose. All right, so JT, thank you for being a part of Blue Rock Talk Crypto Connie, and we'll have you back on again. If that's okay?
Yep, that is okay.
All right, and Stan, we'll definitely see you again for sure. Boom, there we go. All right, so again, a very long night, a fun night, and we've learned something new with the BitShares family, and that is the Billion Hero campaign. All the links are down below. Check them out. We will do Crypto Connie once again here. And I think we'll be back on possibly with a Bigfoot Friday this Friday, and maybe even a nice surprise on Thursday. Definitely Stan's Bible lecture on Sunday. Thank you for being a Blue Rocker. Hit that like button and subscribe if you have not yet. And soon we will see you and talk to you again here on Blue Rock Talk. Thanks for joining us, and have a good night, everybody.